Welcome to the Object of the Game. I'm Maureen Kyle with Coach Chuck Kyle, and it is just an amazing time of year here in Northeast Ohio. Even though it's still a little cold, I bet you are just on the edge of your seat waiting for the home opener for the Guardians. I don't know about you, but I drive past the stadium, the ballpark, pretty much for weeks looking at their countdown of how many days until the home opener. Carlos is also now part of the Big Play Network family. He has a show here on Wednesday nights, the Carlos Baerga Show. It's every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We're going to ask him about that as well. But hearing his stories about what it took to get to that level, playing as a kid, we're also going to talk to him about the role that his dad played in helping him become the player that he is today. And I think this is going to resonate with a lot of you parents out there who are trying to guide your child in the right way. It's so cute. I love this time of year. Like I said, the trees are starting to bloom. I'm taking the dog for a walk. I'm walking past a whole bunch of baseball fields, and I'm seeing the kids out there practicing and parents dedicating their time to coaching.
That's right.
And just as we always try to talk about on this show, striking the right tone when it comes to youth sports.
Right. The idea that, again, and we've mentioned this one before, you're going to hear Carlos Baerga say the same thing. His dad managed the team, but his dad coached.
Mm-hmm.
His dad, you'll hear him talking about how to really work on the skills and become better. And yes, play other sports. His dad wanted him to play other sports. And interesting, when it comes time to, here's this young kid and there's a scout there and the scout's offering. I mean, there's your dad and he's there giving good advice, things like that. It's good.
Yeah.
You want to hear this. You want to hear this.
Yeah. He's just so fun to talk to, too. So we're going to have all of that coming up. If you are watching this live here on Monday night, tomorrow, again, home opener, Big Play, we're going to have a stage set up outside the Thirsty Parrot, all-day coverage of the home opener. Hopefully, if you're downtown, you stop by the stage, you get a chance to see everybody in action. I know what happens. You try and wave, you try to get on camera. It's happened before. So there's your opportunity. Make sure you go check out the Big Play Network stage. And I have to say, now we have a sponsor on the show, which is great. And within the Ignatius family, Infinity of Beechwood and Akron, now under new ownership. And you want to discover the perfect new Infinity to match your lifestyle at Infinity of Beechwood and Infinity of Akron. From the moment you walk in these beautiful dealerships, you'll experience the luxury, care, and innovation that define the Infinity brand. This is luxury redefined. There's a QR code if you want to learn more information about Infinity. Such a fun conversation. Apparently, we're going to start a Big Play softball team with some pretty big all-stars. We're going to talk to Carlos.
Some pretty small ones, too.
So I'm not going to be part of the Big Play softball team. But anyway, major all-star Carlos Baerga is going to talk with us here on the Object of the Game when we return. Welcome back to the Object of the Game. Ahead of home opener for the Guardians, we just had to get one of the biggest household names when it comes to Cleveland baseball history, and a broadcaster you probably know, and new to the Big Play team, Carlos Baerga. Carlos, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah.
It's an honor for me to be with you guys to the Object of the Game. I like that. I like that, the title. And very nice. It's an honor for me to work with you guys. And we are in the same family.
We are.
The Play Sport Network, they're doing a great job. And I have a different, we talk about everything. So I love what we're doing here. I love it.
I know.
Good.
Yeah. I'm excited for your show.
Yes.
Excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, because, come on, sports are fun, but we learn a lot, too. We learn a lot. And that's what we want. Make sure kids learn from our shows, and even, the adults can learn a few things, too, I think. Heaven's sakes. That's what we'll work on.
Carlos, I want to start with growing up playing baseball. Like, how early did you start playing baseball? Because your dad was a big fan and a talented player, too, right?
Yes. I started when I was 8 years old. My father teach me how to play this game. He used to play in the league in Puerto Rico. He have a lot of talent. I always say that if my father was a little bit, taller, he might be a sign because he has the power that he has. It was unbelievable. He was very fast guy. His defense was okay. He was a second baseman. That's why I became a second baseman. But he teach me everything, and how to prepare myself, how to work out. He told me you have to do exercise every day. You have to practice every day, and the work habits. If you have work habits, you are gonna make it to the big leagues. And the best gift that he gave me was, I want you to be a switch hitter. Listen to this, parents. I want you to be a switch hitter because right now, if you get to the big leagues, I don't want the manager to sit you down against righty or against lefty. I want you to play every day. And that was the best gift. And the player that he admired and was his idol was Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was a switch hitter guy. So that's why he say, I want you, you're going to get to the big leagues. But when you get there, I want to see you to play every day.
Oh my
That
God.
was the best gift he gave me.
That people have to understand, that's not easy to do. That takes a lot of work.
Yes.
Being a switch hitter, or, because come on.
You can get hurt too.
Oh,
if you
sure.
practice, you can get hurt because people think that, okay, I'm switch hitter today. I'm going to work for the next 3 days from the right side, and I'm going to forget about the left side. When you come to hit from the next side in the next 3 days, you're going to get hurt because this muscle, you have to, when you're a switch hitter, you have to make sure that you work on it, every day. So it's important that you do both when you're doing hitting, you're doing, throwing or anything like that.
So wait, are you a natural lefty or are you a righty?
I'm a natural lefty from hitter and
there you go.
righty, from throwing. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. You
yeah.
got another lefty here.
I learned as a 9-year-old, if you
Hey.
can throw with in the little league that I played in,
Yes.
for some reason, if you were a left-hander, they wanted you to pitch. And if
Yeah.
you could get it over the plate, you were a good pitcher. That's it. That's all they wanted. They wanted you to get it over the plate. So my baseball career only lasted for so long.
I got a question. Do you used to be a pitcher or you used to play outfield? You used to be a first baseman?
Well, I really, they had me pitch as a
Okay.
youngster. And again, I don't know. I didn't have that great of a fastball, but I could put it over the plate so I didn't walk people, But when I wasn't pitching, I played center field because I had speed.
Okay.
And I could run to the right field, catch it. I could run to the left field and catch it. I figured, put him out there in center, and we'll get a lot of the outs, So that's what I was doing.
You was kind of Kenny Lofton style.
What an honor for you to say that I did that. Okay?
They get mixed up all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Right.
Is it Chuck Kyle? Is it Kenny Lofton? We can't tell.
Oh my God. We got a big guy too, that do our TV for the Cleveland Guardians. Rick Manning was a good center fielder too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He could run too. I mean, your center fielder's got to move.
Yes.
They'd stick me out there. But once in a while, they give it to lefty, and okay, I gotta go in.
I'm gonna talk to Ned. I'm gonna talk to the big people in the big play sport network. We're gonna have a softball team.
Oh.
So we're gonna make sure that you're gonna be playing in there.
I'm
okay?
there. I'm there. I'll probably pull a hamstring out in center field, though.
Yeah.
But I'm there. That'd be a riot.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, one time.
All right, we're definitely going to put that on the docket.
All right, I got to get back.
Yeah.
Now I looked it up, and you were born in San Jose, Puerto Rico, right? Is that how?
Puerto Rico, yes.
Yes. Now I found that is a significant city for baseball in Puerto Rico.
Yes,
It is.
That's why both they have two teams in that city: San Juan and Senadores de San Juan and Cangrejeros de Santurce. Those two teams, Roberto Clemente played for those two teams. Roberto Clemente is the biggest idol that we have in Puerto Rico. And let me tell you something. You know the players that play with Santurce? Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Reggie Jackson, Frank Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Peruchin Cepeda. Do you know how many Hall of Famers play in the league in Puerto Rico? 54
Right.
Hall of Famers.
How about that young Pat over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I just started. I saw where you're born, and some of this stuff started coming up about. That's sort of the founding city for baseball in Puerto
Yes.
Rico. It goes all the way back to. This is what they said. All the way back to 1898.
Uh-huh.
Like the American Army came because of the Spanish-American War or something like that. I mean, Admiral Doubleday only invented the game like 30 years prior to that. And when those guys were playing baseball, I guess everybody in town said, "Yeah, let's play." And it's been history. It's been listen to all those names you mentioned.
I have the opportunity to born in Puerto Rico, and my second city is Cleveland. I consider my second city Cleveland. I think I born in Cleveland. So that my two kids, they born in Cleveland. Carla and Giovanni, they're from Cleveland, but they are Puerto Rican too. So I'm blessed, and that's why I say my city. I'm born in Puerto Rico, but my second city, and I feel that I'm born in Cleveland too. It's a blessed. But living in Puerto Rico and growing up, it was special because I had the opportunity, and I know it's hard for you guys what I'm gonna say right now. I don't know how cold it is right now. I heard tomorrow for opening day it's gonna be very cold. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? My first two games in the big leagues, when I came up, opening day, snow. Oh, I don't play. That was unbelievable. I make it to the big leagues. I was gonna get there. And the first 2 days, they canceled both games. And I fly my father to Puerto Rico because I want to honor him because he was the one to teach me how to play the game. And I had to fly him back to Puerto Rico. I had to fly him back to Puerto Rico. Because that was a weekend, and he had to fly back to work. And I said, "Daddy, don't worry about it. I'm gonna bring you back again. And next time that I bring you, I'm gonna make the All-Star game." Yeah. But I bring him before. I bring him before to Cleveland. But then next year after that, I bring him to the All-Star game, and that was a special moment for me.
Somebody should have told you about Cleveland's weather. They flattered you, said, "Oh boy, look at this. You'll love it here." People. Oh yeah, it snows.
Right, right.
Thank you. Right.
In TV, we called it the snow opener.
Yes.
It would be like, is it going to be a snow opener, or is it going to be a nice, gorgeous spring day?
Historically,
you never know.
That's the way it is.
But you know what? I was so happy that I was in the big leagues. I don't care if it's snow. I know that I want to play, but I'm in the big leagues. And a lot of people say, "You go to Cleveland, it's going to be cold." It's an old ballpark. The people don't go to the games all the time. But you know what? I don't care. I just make it to the big leagues. Don't care where you play. I am in the big leagues. I'm a big league player, and I was blessed to be with the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe when you were coming up, the stands weren't packed, but when you were playing here, boy, did you pack the stadium.
You were part of that.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. I want to talk also about what it took to get to the big leagues, because I think that's always fascinating, the coming up story. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more with Carlos Baerga. Welcome back to The Object of the Game. I'm Maureen Kyle with Coach Chuck Kyle, and we are talking to Indians Guardians legend Carlos Baerga today ahead of the home opener. And Carlos, you were just talking about what it was like to get to the big leagues, but before that, you were playing some really tough games. You were playing ahead of your age. I want to hear what that was like, especially as I'm walking around my neighborhood and I'm seeing the little leagues start, and kids will want to hear these stories.
According to my notes, you were 17 years old when you started to getting into the
professional.
Mm-hmm.
But I signed when I was 16 because I signed in November 1995. But I started playing on the year after that, in 1986. But I had to say something. My father, he wanted me to be the best, but I had to work hard to be the best. That's what he said to me, Coach. And he put me. I remember my first team. I was 8 years old. I was playing with players that was 10 and 11. Wow. My first year, I said, "Daddy, why are you doing that? I know that I can play with them, but you know what? Let me play on my age I don't, I know you're gonna. He told me. I remember like it was today. He told me, I know that you're gonna be the best on that age, but this is gonna be a good thing for you because one day you're gonna hit a wall, and you're gonna know how hard it is to be a baseball player. So I want you to work hard every day and put in your mind, you know what? I cannot stop working. I keep working if I want to be the best in the game. So that was one of the best advice that I have from my father. And I remember at the beginning it was hard. But then when I start working, that I start hitting and I start becoming one of the best players, and my father started laughing. I said, you see what I said to you? That's why you have to keep going every day. But he was my manager. He was my manager my first 4 years, and I remember that I became so good that every time that we was playing like in the finals for the league to represent Puerto Rico, my father had to bring the birth certificate because people thought that I was older. I wasn't the tall one, but I was so good hitting that he had to bring the birth certificate to show everybody it's from here. And I remember something that I had to give thanks to my father. In one of the leagues that I was playing, I was 30 years old. We live like maybe like 40 minutes from where I was playing. And for you to play in that league, you have to live in that city
area. Yeah.
right there. And you know what my father did when we was going to the finals? My father moved.
Oh.
He rent a house and then he buy a house in there 2 weeks before the contest. And I say, Daddy, why you doing that? No, why you doing that? I say, I want to do it because this is going to be the best for your career.
Oh, wow.
I was 12 years old. What do you know about if I wasn't going to make it or something like that? That's something that my father did for me, and I really blessed to have a father that, since I was 8 years old, he know there was something special on me, and he put everything in there. My father take me to the beach. I used to run in the sand. I used to swim a lot in the beach because we live close. He want me to work out every day, take vitamins. From 8 years old, I was taking vitamins all the time. So he treat me like a horse.
Oh my God. Like a
race all the time,
Okay. I hope you had some fun. Come on.
You know what? Wait a second. That is important because I feel like there's a fine line. And Carlos, you probably see this if you do any clinics or something. There are parents now that are, sometimes they overstep.
They overdo it sometimes.
They overdo it. But did you love it? Like, were you like, this is what I want to do?
I love it. And my father let me play different sport. In school, I was one of the best athletes. I was a track and field guy. I was a volleyball player. And I was a basketball player. And do you know that I almost signed professional as a volleyball player? They want me to sign professional. And my father said, no, he's gonna be a baseball player. But I had that talent to play other sports. That was the best thing because now parents know he's playing baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know what? When they are leader, let them play everything because they're gonna help them, for the move, for the jump, to take different stuff like that. It's gonna make them stronger. You're gonna stay lean and you're gonna be, a good athlete. You want to be a complete athlete. You don't want to be a guy that just can play first base. Or you can play, maybe the edge. No, I want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Carlos, you're talking about things that we've been talking about the last how many shows?
Yeah.
Let those young kids, let them play other sports too. Let them experiment, sample. Because
I always say when you turn 13 and 14, that's the age that you need to know, okay, why you want to become a baseball player.
That's about the time. To go, okay, I'm investing a little bit more into it. But before that, I'm kind of experimenting. I'm having fun, I mean, Carlos, I ended up a football player, coach, all that stuff for 50 years. I was born near Chicago. And I mean, I was Chicago White Sox. I loved them, right? My backyard. I mean, I wasn't even thinking that much about the Chicago Bears. I don't even remember even thinking about them. But the Chicago White Sox, and we were in the backyard. But come on, there's other sports to do and have fun. You meet different kids, right? That's. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear, because there comes a point where your dad and you realized, okay, baseball is where he's going to go. Yes. That's great.
Yeah.
So that was the best thing that happened. I have another thing that happened to me The day that I was going to sign, I was in church. And I was in church because I was a drummer, and in the church that my father used to take me when I was a little kid. And I remember my father, we finished the beginning of the thing in there in church, and my father called me from the back, and I said, why he's calling me? You know, I know that he can do whatever he want with me, but he was calling me, and I went in the back, and there was the scouts.
Oh, wow.
And say, we want to sign Carlos for the San Diego Padres. I never did any tryout. I never did anything. So I was 16 years old. And the guy came in, we want to sign Carlos Baerga. But my father, we already have a commitment to go to Florida State University.
Oh, wow.
Florida State University. And I said to my father, Daddy. My father said no to him right away. No, he going to college. I want him to finish school, and then he going to sign. My father was very, very hard on me on school. Right. He said to me, you know what? You have to have good grades because you never know you can get hurt. Mm-hmm. And when I was 12 years old, I want to be just the best athlete in school. And I remember that my grades went down. And he take me out of the game. Whoa. And I played for almost 2 months. So I got the grades up again, and he let me play. So he teach me something. And then when that opportunity came in for me to sign, he remind me again, you have a commitment already to go to Florida State. And I you know what I did? You're gonna laugh, coach. I told my father, the scout is right here, and my father is in this side and in the middle. And I said, Daddy, can I talk to you? So we went away a little bit, a little bit far away. And I talked to him. I said, Daddy, let me sign right now. I'm 16 years old, and I promise you, before 20 years old, I'm going to be in the big leagues. I said, no. And he said to me, no, you already make a commitment. I want you to study, because if you get hurt, I'm gonna feel bad because I don't give you something for you to anything that can happen in your life. Mm-hmm. I want you to be somebody. So I said, Daddy, I promise you, what we gonna do with this, Daddy? I'm gonna keep going to school, but I'm gonna play, and I come back to Puerto Rico. I'm gonna go to college, finish college, and I'm gonna move both at the same time. I said, okay, but let's talk to him. He can give us more money, and he can give you a scholarship. I need a scholarship to pay for your school. I said, well, let's talk to him. So we came back and talk to him, talk to the scout, and the scout said, no problem. We're going to give you a 4-year scholarship, and we're going to give you a little bit more money. And that was the best thing that happened. Yes. My father was happy that this happened and stuff like that. Coach, it's very important to talk to the parents right now. I know you guys want everybody to be a baseball player, but it's a different era right now.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm. A different era right now. Now for you to sign professional, it's hard. Oh, yeah. It's hard. The competition is hard. And now the rounds are, they cut down the rounds now. There are less teams in minor leagues. So you have to make sure that you are your player to sign. So that's why I let every parent know when I do clinics, take your kids to school. It's important that, to go to school, to finish school, to have good grades, because you never know what can happen in life. And when I talk to them about all the surgery that I have, surgery here, surgery here, my collarbone, I got 3 screws, my knee, I have my MCA, ACL, my teeth, I lost all my teeth when I hit by a pitch. Tell me, Coach.
Baseball's a non-contact sport, isn't it?
And you see what happened to me? So I got lucky that I keep playing. Right. I come back. But that's when I hurt my knee. That was one of the last one. No, that was before. This one was the last one, my collarbone. Oh my knee, I stopped playing. I say, that's it. I'm going to retire. I'm not going to play anymore. Right. And you know what? I had to come back and play again because my mother, she got cancer, and she asked me to come back and play again. After 2 years off, Coach, I went to Independence League, and then I went to Korea. Oh. When I came back to from Korea, I played 4 months over there. I came in the best shape of my life, and I win the MVP in the league in Puerto Rico. I buy a team in Puerto Rico. I was an owner too, and I was an honor player. Honor
It
player.
doesn't happen
We
too
win
often.
the championship. We win the championship. And I signed and I played 5 more years in the
Wow.
big leagues. And I was blessed. I was blessed.
Manager player is one thing. Owner and
Yeah.
player.
Owner and player.
That one set an all time right there.
Yeah, that's a
Yes,
new
yes,
goal.
yes.
We're
All right.
going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Carlos, we have to ask you about that mid 1990s team, especially the 1995 team. I mean, that's one of those that I know everybody wants to hear stories about. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Carlos Baerga. Welcome back. We are talking about the golden years with the then Indians, now it's the Guardians. But we are with Carlos Baerga, who's part of the Big Play family now. And also, you're going to be listening to him during the broadcast games of the Guardians. Carlos, I don't think anybody who's a true Indians Guardians fan can sit down and ignore the team that you were on and what you guys brought to this city. It's one of those times in our baseball history that everyone will talk about for decades to come. And
You're gonna talk about the Indians? Let me
okay,
check.
Here we go.
all right.
Well, sure, I have to put
There
it on.
it is. You got to put it
That
on.
was a blessed thing that we have.
You
Look
guys
at
were
that.
magical.
That-
it was just
Yeah.
that's
That throws
incredible.
back the clock. You look like
Look
you're
at-
25 years old. Here we go.
Yes, man. It was an amazing time that I have. And I give thanks to, to the ownership, what they did. After my first 2 years in the big leagues, we lost 100 games and 105.
Oh, wow.
The people thought that was right away. We was really good. No, we went through a big thing at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had to give thanks to John Hart and Pires. They give you the opportunity to bring Kenny Lofton, to bring Omar Vizquel, to get call up Albert Bell, Jim
Right.
Tommy,
Right.
to bring all these new players to our team, and the develop was unbelievable in the minor leagues because they bring Charles Nagy to our team
Mhm.
together with myself and Sandy Alomar.
Right.
We came in from San Diego. You
Yes, you
remember the
did,
trade?
yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, you remember that
Oh,
trade?
yeah. And that in history, that's a great trade for the
Yes.
for the
Yes.
Indians because we gave up a power hitter, but we got all-stars from it, and in a team group that you were a leader on that team. And the beautiful thing too, the new stadium. What timing? It's the new stadium, and that ballpark is still a great ballpark.
Right.
That is
Right.
they did it right there. They
Yeah.
did a great job at that ballpark. And it just everything hit at almost at the same time. You guys were playing new ballpark. From that point on, you couldn't find a ticket. You couldn't. It was sold out every time.
455 days in a row. The
Look at that.
record in the big leagues, it was a special. And I remember that day. The 1994 opening day. You remember the Bill Clinton was there
Yes.
throwing out the first pitch. Everything, it was kind of crazy. The ballpark was packed. Randy Johnson pitching against the Cleveland Indians. First game, he was throwing a no-hitter. Opening day, that he was going to become the second player in the history. You know who was the first one? Bob Feller.
Yes.
Bob
Yeah.
Feller was in the stadium that day.
Yes.
I came up on radio and say, "Hey, this guy's throwing a no-hitter in the seventh. What are you doing? He going to break my record?"
Yes.
Wow. So it was amazing day because the fans, they never left the ballpark. Sandy Alomar got the first base hit to right field. And then we played 12th inning, and Wayne Kirby came in.
hmm
Boom!
Bang
Land
one.
right to left field, and we win that game. And that was a day that we never going to forget about
Oh.
because from that day on,
Right.
our team went to another place.
That
Yes.
that couldn't have been. I don't think you could write a script.
No.
It would
Yes.
be as perfect at the opening of that stadium, packed house, a dramatic game going against one of the best pitchers in the history, major leagues. I mean, he was amazing, and we pull it out in extra. That one is memorable.
That year was just 140 games. We win 100 games. We lost 40. That was amazing. To put those kind of numbers, you know what it takes? You know, especially when you're playing in the big leagues, when you're playing the great teams,
Right.
you know, that we are. Our division was really good. Chicago White Sox, you know, they played really good
Right.
against us and stuff like that. So what we did was special, but it was a lot of movement from our organization when they bring Eddie Murray, they
Right.
bring Dave Winfield, they bring Otto
Right.
Hershiser, they bring Dennis Martinez. So they bring veteran players that they already play in the World Series. They already win championships. They already win, you know, like 3,000 hits. They Winfield and Eddie Murray. So they was playing with us in the
Right.
same team. We was a lot of young players, but a great talent. But when you put, you know, when you pull veteran players with young players, is something. It
Right.
was really special that time in 1995.
You're showing a, what you mentioned the word commitment before, and you're seeing, okay, how disappointing that strike was because you had it going, you made a commitment, right?
Yes,
Let's go. We're
yes,
playing winter ball. Let's keep it going, and
yes,
then a commitment from the organization. They bring
yes,
in veterans like that,
yes,
knowing this is the moment.
yes,
Let's get it done.
yes.
That's just history. That's history. What amazing,
Uh, that
amazing
was
thing.
special.
Yeah. You talk about, I mean, I think it's so endearing that you're giving so much credit to the fans too, and the energy that the fans brought to the team.
Yes,
Because I know everybody thinks that they were part of it. You know, they feel like they were
Oh
part of
yeah.
it. And it's so nice to hear you say that that did make a difference in the momentum and what all of you were going through. But talk to me quickly before we take our next break about the chemistry, because you can have all the talent you want on a team,
yes.
but if the chemistry is not there, the friendship and the trust and the camaraderie, if it's not there, you don't have a 1995
Yes.
Indians team.
The chemistry was unbelievable. You know, Kenny Lofton, you know, he was in charge of the music of the clubhouse. I was the captain, but he was the one in charge on everything like that. And we have players that every time we step in the field, we wasn't cocky. We just believe in ourselves. Believe, and you know what? No matter if we are losing in the 8th or in the ninth, we was gonna come back. And when we start winning games in the last inning, coming back from 4 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, we say, wow, this is going to be special. So Jim Tomey start hitting homers to win the game. Albert Bell start hitting homers. Eddie Murray, Paul Sorrento, and it get contentious. And it was very, very special. And then Omar making all those plays shortstop. We was turning double play. Our pitching staff went from this level to another level. And then we have Jose Mesa closing the game.
Right.
It was one of the most special teams, you know, in the years that I played, that I never played with a team like that. That team was special, and I want to say something to the fans before we go to the playoff and to the World Series, because they need to know something. You know that team is going to be one of the best teams that played the game. That team in 1995
Mm-hmm.
is going to have, when everything is over in 10 years, in 10 more years, you're going to have at least 9 to 10 players in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Wow.
You
Wow.
only got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Winfield, Eddie Mura, Jim
Right.
Tomey.
Right.
Kenny Lofton is going to be a Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Omar Vizquera is going to be a Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Manny Ramirez is going to be a Hall of Fame. Dennis Martinez is going to be a Hall of Fame. Otto Hershiser is going to be a Hall of Fame. And maybe Sandy Alomar and maybe Carlos Baerga later
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
going to
vote for
happen.
you.
Yeah.
Right
But at least,
here.
but at least you have 8 players
Right.
that's
Right.
going to be a Hall of Famers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a bless. There's any team in baseball
Yeah.
in 1 year playing together, they're going to have all those players in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Fans, you guys were blessed to watch that team play
Mhm.
every day.
Right.
Every day. That
Well,
was
you know,
a-
Cleveland, Ohio, people relate to that. What you just talked about, how the talent, yeah, obviously, you got to have talent, but to see that team, hey, it's the 8th inning and they're down by 3 runs and nobody left the ballpark.
Nobody.
Nobody. Nobody
Yeah.
turned off the TV because they said, "Here we go again. Here
Yes.
it comes."
Yes.
That I remember that.
We got almost 22 come back. We lead the league in
Right.
that. We lead
Oh.
the league in everything in hitting. It was amazing what we did, and it was very special.
Yeah.
And everything was unbelievable beating Randy Johnson in Seattle. Game 7. Randy Johnson that year with the CSI Young, he win 20 games, something like that. It was, oh my God. Beating them in Seattle too.
Yeah.
That ballpark is to beat Seattle in that ballpark. They came back 3-1 and beat the Yankees, winning 3 games in a row. You remember when that happened?
Yeah.
Beating the Yankees, and then they play us, and you know how they play us. They play really good, and we came back and win that game. That was very special. Kenny Lofton, we came with a strategy. We talked before. We have a meeting, team meeting, and we said, Kenny, let's start bunny against him right away. Omar, you too. Start bunny. Let's make it, getting his head. Because you have to, that's a strategy you have to have in this game.
Yeah.
Right.
You cannot let the pitcher go and keep throwing and keep throwing. You have to put pressure on the pitcher. That's what we did against Roger Clemens. Remember the first game of the playoffs that year? We start talking trash to Roger Clemens. We're going to kill you. You remember like that. So we get in their mind.
Well, you did.
That was a strategy that we have when we really good pitching. Get in the head, start doing little things, and then what happened? We finished winning.
Hey, I got to admit, when Albert Bell would do that, you went, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he had some guns.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I love the strategy. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you were just watching us, you heard a certain strategy from Carlos Baerga, which was talking some trash, getting in the pitcher's head.
You know what Candy Maldonado said to me? When you come to the ballpark, Carlos, you're going to finish batting practice. You're going to go up. You're going to change your shirt because it's sweat. Get a sandwich, get a juice, and come down and watch the best player of the game from each team. When we play Baltimore, you're going to watch Eddie Murray and Cal Ripken. When you play Milwaukee, you're going to watch Paul Molitor and Robbie Young. When you play Kansas City, you're going to watch George Brett and Frank White. How they prepare themselves. Because those guys, they already played 15 years. They already win MVPs. They win Rookie of the Year. You don't want to look to the other guys that never do nothing. You don't play this game just to play it. You play this game to, to look. When you finish the game, I say, I give everything that I have. Right. If I win, win. If we lose, we lose. But when you give something, you're going to go home and you're going to sleep really good because you get everything going.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Carlos about not only broadcasting for the Guardians this year, but also the show that you have here on Big Play Networks, because we want everybody to know what they can tune in and expect.
Carlos Baerga Show.
The Carlos Baerga Show. So when we come back, we give everybody a word to expand upon, like what you've learned in life, maybe a quote. We'll see what we can fit in. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Object of the Game. We are with Carlos Baerga, and we have come to the point in the show that we like to call the vocab word from the former English teacher here. And you picked out a word for Carlos based on what you know about him and his ability.
We have a lot of list of words, and this one needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because I think you what you've done and the way you've approached things, it fits this beautifully.
Yes.
The benefit of being versatile. Versatility, being able to do a number of things well.
Yes.
You were a switch hitter. You could play, you played second base, but if they needed you to play third, you'd have played third. Versatility. Kids have to hear that. They can't just go, no, I'm just a pitcher. Give me a break.
And you know what? Right now, every player in the big leagues, no one player, every player in the big leagues. Well, right now, Jose Altuve is playing left field, and he just win his 7 Silver Slugger bats, and he win already 3 Gold Glove in second base, and he win 3 batting champion MVP in second base, but now he's playing left field. My career, Carlos Baerga came in as a utility guy. As a utility, I was playing the most in shortstop at the beginning. And I played second a couple of times, and I played third base, and I played first base. So I need to learn all the position, and that was very, very important for me for my career because it helped me out at the beginning and helped me out in the last 5 years of my career because I already know how to play each position.
Right.
Very important.
Did you get a quote for?
I did.
Okay.
All right.
So again, this
Go
goes
ahead.
back to his literature days. We have him pull a quote from literature. Is it Shakespeare?
Yes.
It is Shakespeare.
Okay. I taught William Shakespeare for out of the 50, like 30 some years. Okay. And if somebody quotes Shakespeare, everybody thinks, whoa, he's pretty smart. They just found a good quote from Shakespeare. He's very quotable. All right. But I got one I think really fits here.
Mm-hmm.
From the play Hamlet, which is a tragedy. Act 4, scene 5, or whatever. And it simply says this: we know who we are,
Mhm.
but we know not who we could be. We know
Wow.
who we are, but what could we be? We just don't know.
Mm.
So what do we have to do? Take right now and work on it.
Wow.
That was
Great
Shakespeare.
words.
And
I
Shakespeare
love
didn't
it.
even play baseball. Yes.
You don't sign to be just a minor league guy.
Right.
Mhm.
Time to go to the big leagues.
Right.
You time to represent your country, to represent the Cleveland Guardians, to get there. You want to be the best. The money not represent you. The money that you
Mhm.
make or the bonus that they give you. You know what's going to represent you? The desire, the determination,
Yes.
the passion, the discipline that you have to make it and to become the best player.
William Shakespeare
That's
is rolling in his
it.
grave right now.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the point.
Yes.
That's the point. As soon as you think you're good, come on, those pitchers
Wow.
over there, they're studying you. They're gonna get you if you think, oh, I got it, man. I'm the man.
I
Oh,
made
those.
my first All-Star team. That's it. It's going to happen next
Oh,
year.
I'm done.
I'm not going to work now. I'm not going to work.
Yeah, those pitchers are studying you like crazy.
Yeah.
They're gonna get you if you just sit like that.
This was a great conversation. This was a great show.
Fun.
It's going to be an even better Big Play Network softball team because of you two.
Oh.
You two.
All right.
Thank you so much for spending the time with
Yes,
us today.
thank
It was
you,
so
Carlos.
great to talk
Thank
to
you.
you and hear these stories.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're part of the family here
Yes.
now.
People
And
tune into the
oh, I
Carlos
know.
show.
I know.
It's a
I'll
riot.
see you guys tomorrow, opening day in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys.
go.
It'll be such a great
Playing
season.
baseball right now. We make the playoff last year. We want to go to the World Series this year.
Yeah.
God bless everybody. I'm going to see you guys at the ballpark.
Yep.
Bless.
We want to make sure you're a busy man
That's right.
this baseball season. Carlos Baerga, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Carlos. Thank you.
Honor.
And thanks to all of you for watching The Object of the Game. Remember, you can catch all of our shows here on the Big Play Network. If you don't have the app, download it for free. It's free on iOS. Big thank you to Infinity of Beechwood and Akron and Infinity USA. I'm Maureen Kyle for Chuck Kyle. Thanks again for watching.